So I knew this day was going to come. I knew this day was going to come. That as Major League Soccer grows in the country, other sports leagues, other established sports leagues that have been around way far longer than the MLS will start to take notice, and they'll start to pay attention, and that they will feel that their brand is being highly and heavily affected by the threat of Major League Soccer becoming more popular than their sport in their particular city. And the city of Miami is a perfect example, is a good example. Former Marlins president David Samson, a man who is a finesser and a deceiver and whose words should not be trusted, is leading a campaign to scare the citizens of Miami, to scare Miami politicians into being against a new soccer-specific stadium in the city of Miami. Now, this project proposed by David Beckham and Jorge Mas, this is not only a soccer-specific stadium. This is a park. It's basically called a Miami Freedom Park. So basically, it has potential to be an economic boost to the city. So besides a proposed stadium being built on an acre of land that's currently a golf course, they're not going to take the full golf course, but they're going to take a certain acre of land on that golf course and turn it into a big retail center, a big economic center. Besides the new soccer stadium, it's going to include a hotel, an office park, a retail space, and a public park. But you have a guy like David Samson, who was the former president of the Miami Marlins before he was fired by Derek Jeter in 2017, having you think that this is going to hurt the city. Cost of living is going to go up as a result of this new park. People are going to lose their apartments. More people will be homeless. This is what David Samson and the Miami Marlins want you to think. And this is all out of fear. The Marlins fear that they are going to lose fans to enter Miami CF. The Marlins and Major League Baseball would rather enter Miami CF and the MLS to remain in Fort Lauderdale, because Major League Baseball does not want to compete. They do not want to have fair competition with the MLS in any of their cities. Let me tell you something about David Samson. Did you know that David Samson led a new stadium deal for a new Marlins baseball stadium that cost taxpayers in Miami nearly $2 billion? Did you know that as David Samson, during his 10 seasons as being president of the Miami Marlins, the Marlins never won a division title? And they also had 10 losing seasons under Samson. I believe their only winning season was in 2003, and that's when they won the championship. They won it all. Besides that one season in 2003, the Marlins always lost under Samson. So this guy, he basically finessed the city. Samson basically finessed the city. Within 10 seasons, he only gave you one championship. Then he built a new stadium that cost taxpayers a lot of money. Samson is the one that caused a lot of people to lose their apartments. Samson is the one that caused a lot of people to be homeless. And now he is trying to be the voice of Major League Baseball in Miami to scare people and tell them that this new MLS, not only a stadium, but this new MLS economic park is going to hurt the city even more. Now, there's nothing wrong with people being against this stadium deal because, it's a free country and we have a freedom to think for ourselves. But one thing that should not happen is this guy, David Samson. He should definitely not be the voice of the opposition. he should definitely not be the face of the opposition. It should be somebody that has more integrity, someone whose voice is more trusted, not somebody who had 10 losing seasons and built a new stadium that caused a lot of people to lose their homes or apartments, caused a lot of people to be homeless. Now, let me read to you what was posted by Inter Miami CF last week about the facts. They posted this on Twitter. Number one, the park is 100% privately funded. No taxpayer money is going to fund this project. This is not a Buffalo Bills stadium type of situation. This is not a Tennessee Titans stadium situation. This is not an Atlanta Braves stadium type of situation. This new stadium is going to be fully funded by Jorge Mas, David Beckham, and their ownership group. It's privately funded. No taxpayer money is going into this project. Fact number two, Miami Freedom Park will pay 57% over fair market value rent to the city. Fact number three, Miami Freedom Park will pay $2.67 billion in rent to the city over the lease term. Fact number four, Miami Freedom Park will contribute $6.3 billion in tax revenue over the lease term. Miami Freedom Park will lease 73 acres from the city. It will create 15,000 direct and indirect jobs. It will create the largest park in the city, which will be a public park. And it will contribute an additional $25 million to public parks. Now, there's an article that I read on The Athletic, and The Athletic did a good job of providing the real issues. Here is the real issue. So one of the real issues that the politicians have is concerns over the rent. Because property values in the entire city of Miami went up during the COVID pandemic. They're believing that the rent, since the overall rent and property values in the city went up during the COVID pandemic, they believe that the Inter Miami CF, their proposed minimum rent of $3.57 million per year, that should be renegotiated. Like, it should go back up. It should rise up since property values in the city went up. But Jorge Mas is saying, since that property is not a residential property, that their proposed minimum rent should not go up because it's a residential property. So it shouldn't be affected. That's what Jorge Mas is saying. Another issue that the local politicians are having is, from The Athletic, ability to complete the project. And in The Athletic, it states, the memo claims that Mas and Beckham's group had not provided evidence of financial capacity to complete the project, and there is not yet a guarantor, sufficiently capitalized tenant, or large security deposit that will protect the city in the event the group failed to live up to their obligations. So basically, those are the two major issues: is the proposed rent that the ownership group, that the Inter Miami ownership group will be paying for using the stadium, and the city doesn't believe that they will complete the project in a specific time, in a specific time, basically. Anyhow, there's a lot of politics that's surrounding this stadium, and with any stadium in general, there's always going to be politics, especially after what the Buffalo Bills did and what the Tennessee Titans are getting ready to do. Basically, the NFL, the National Football League, is really making it harder. They're really making it hard for any other league to build a new stadium in the city. Like, the NFL's, they're really making it harder for other leagues, basically. So as a result of that, any other team, any other sport that wants to build a stadium, there's automatically going to be pushback, because NFL, which is largely the most popular sport in the country, if they're not willing to fully fund their new stadium projects, the perception is other sports teams will do the same thing, will follow in the same footsteps as the NFL. So that's why there's a lot of pushback. Well, one thing I would say here is, people of Miami, one thing I'll just say is this: anything that comes out of the mouth of David Samson, don't believe him. He is a deceiver, he is a finesser, and his word should not be trusted. Major League Baseball fears the MLS. They know that their sport is quickly dying in popularity. Like MLB, Major League Baseball popularity is dying way more faster than the NFL. NFL's popularity is slowly dying like a snail. But MLB popularity is declining quickly. And MLB knows that the rise of the MLS is their downfall. As the MLS rises, the MLB declines. So there's no doubt in my mind that the MLB is working behind the scenes to try to prevent this stadium, this MLS stadium, from being built. Or not only this stadium, but this project as a whole from being built. And they're using a deceiver, a conniver, a finesser, and David Samson to lead the oppositional charge. So one thing we do know is that the MLB is highly aware of the rise of the MLS, and they're going to do everything in their power to prevent the MLS from becoming more popular than their sport. So Major League Soccer, Don Garber, the other leagues are paying, they see you now. Before they weren't really paying much attention to you, but now they see you. They see your potential. So now you're on the stage with the big boys and you're up for a big fight. The rest of the MLS is paying attention to see how you're going to handle this Miami situation. Because there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be other MLS clubs in other cities that's going to have this same issue with an MLB club leading an opposition for an MLS club to build a new stadium. Because as the MLS rises, the MLB declines. The MLS is the greatest threat to Major League Baseball's popularity and existence in this country.